From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Welcome everyone to OpenLine. Good show tonight. We are talking about how adults can go back to school and get a post-secondary degree or credential tuition free of charge. This is paid for by the Tennessee Lottery, and it's something that's part of a broader goal of the governor to get more people in Tennessee with post-secondary degrees, the drive to 55. We can talk about all that, how it can affect you or someone you know. And we're happy to have with us Laura Ward, the director of Middle Tennessee Reconnect. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, all right, Reconnect Tennessee. I tried to explain it there, and you can see me looking down, so I had to get all the words just right. But kind of give us the overview. What is happening here?
Okay. Well, Tennessee Reconnect is part of the governor's drive to 55, which is the effort to get 55% of Tennesseans with a post-secondary degree or credential by 2025. So any adult is eligible to participate in the services of Reconnect. We provide high-touch advisement services to adults, and then part of that, under that umbrella of Reconnect, are also grants that allow adults to attend either a Tennessee College of Applied Technology or a community college for free. The community college legislation was just signed a few weeks ago by Governor Haslam, and that goes into effect in the fall of 2018. So we have a little bit of a wait before it goes fully into effect, but in the meantime, adults can work on program choice, career choice. We really want them to move into a career when they graduate. So looking at those pathways, credentials that stack on one another, so they may start at a TCAT but move on to a community college and then on to a 4-year degree.
So when you talk about a post-secondary degree or credential, what is it? I understand a post-secondary degree. What's a credential?
A credential is a career credential is a high-level certification that most of the time will move into what we call a middle skill job. So you earn those at a Tennessee College of Applied Technology, and many of them, they range in, from megatronics, which are credentials that allow people to work in the auto industry at somewhere like Nissan or General Motors, to advanced manufacturing that kind of broadens where they can work, to an office automation and technology certificate that would allow people to go into maybe an entry-level office position.
So we've heard about this push that focuses a lot on getting people these post-secondary degrees, which means there's a heavy focus on people graduating from high school.
Right.
But we can't do it, we can't meet this goal that has been set just with people who graduate from high school, right?
Right.
We need adults to go back to school.
Right. In the state of Tennessee, if you look, with projections, we know that we have almost 700,000 students who will graduate from high school between now and 2025, and that doesn't come close to meeting our drive to 55. So sort of the holy grail of meeting our goal is adults, because there are 900,000 adults in the state of Tennessee who have some college but no degree. They may have a semester or two, or they may have more than that, but if they return to school and earn a post-secondary degree or credential, we will meet the drive to 55. So, so if someone has a few credits, but also has 10 to 15 years of work experience, they can leverage that work experience as well, because in the state of Tennessee we have several schools that offer prior learning credit. So they can earn credit for the work they have done and for the knowledge they have, which is really nice, because there are adults who have some college who go and talk to an advisor at one of our schools, and they may only need 1 or 2 semesters to graduate, and that can change someone's life. It can change their career, but it can also change their family, because when parents go to school and their children see them go to school and graduate, they're more likely to go to school. So it really changes the culture of a family or a neighborhood or a community.
And this is paid for, as I said at the top, with money from the lottery.
Right.
So what we're talking about, when I hear, okay, it's free, I
Right.
question, okay, how is it really free?
Right.
How can this state with no income tax afford that? But you're saying it's coming from the lottery. If somebody's out there is saying, I don't think I could really afford this or whatever, it really is not going to cost them money?
Well, it covers tuition and basic fees. So if someone attends a TCAT or goes to school, there are other fees involved in school. There are books, supplies. Those aren't covered by a Reconnect grant, but in the Reconnect community, we work with them to try to figure out how to pay for that. Because every person who goes to school has a different they have a different story. They have a different need. And so it's like a puzzle putting together how are you going to pay for school, go to school. And so we really work with them to put that puzzle together. And Reconnect grants are last dollar scholarships. So similar to Tennessee Promise, a student will complete the FAFSA, determine their eligibility for federal aid.
Now, what is FAFSA? What is, that's a thing that says whether you can get federal money?
The free application for federal student aid.
All right.
So anyone can complete the FAFSA. If they qualify for federal aid, that's applied to their tuition, and then Reconnect comes in and picks up the rest. So sometimes someone qualifies for what we call full Pell. So they qualify for the maximum amount of a Pell grant, and that covers their tuition. So they don't necessarily need a Reconnect grant. Other times, there are so many income restrictions on a lot of financial aid. So an adult may be working and may make what the government would deem as too much money to qualify for a Pell Grant, but they still can't afford to go to school. So if they make too much money to qualify for Pell, then a Reconnect grant would come in and pick up that. The last dollar is the whole bill. So a Reconnect grant would pay for their tuition.
This is not based on what you make. It's going to pay it no matter what. Right. Which
there's nothing like this in the country right now. I mean, Tennessee is really on the leading edge of providing access to adults to post-secondary education. There's lots of different iterations of free tuition around the country, but Tennessee is really at the forefront of this work.
And why? Well, let me ask you this. Do you think people know about it? So you're dealing with people now that are calling up and saying this and that. How well known is this?
Well, I would say it's very well known right now because the governor just signed the community college legislation. And because we have a lot of community partners, so those partners push Reconnect. But I would say in the next, by the fall of 2018, everyone should know about it.
And why is this so important?
Well, I think as we look at our future workforce needs and our current workforce needs, new jobs, the drive to 55, 60% of new jobs that are going to come online will require a post-secondary degree or credential. So if we don't have a workforce prepared to meet that need, then new employers will go elsewhere, and current employers who have those retiring employees are going to have a huge gap in their workforce. So it really is about meeting those needs.
And what sort of response are you getting from businesses? What are you hearing? Are they having some input into what is because if you do this, you want to come out and immediately have something.
Yeah, I think leading up to the creation of our Reconnect community here in Middle Tennessee, there was a lot of work with employers around skills panels and pipelines. Where are the greatest needs for workforce? And so employers were involved in that piece, but then we also have employer partners in Reconnect here in Middle Tennessee. So they have been working with us since we launched last April to provide access to their employees. We also have employers that are looking at their own policies when a lot of employers provide tuition reimbursement, but when the state is covering the tuition cost, a lot of our employers are saying, how else can we help an employee if they don't need tuition? And the answer is books, supplies, additional fees. If they want to take online classes, those online fees. And so we have employers who are adjusting their policies to fit the needs of the workforce, which I think is kind of a revolutionary concept. But then also adding other services, so employees feel included. They feel like they know where, what the next step is if they complete a credential while they're working.
We want to encourage people to call in with their questions or comment or a situation. We'll take one call here before we go to break. Let's go to Michael. Hello, Michael.
Good evening to both of you.
Go right ahead.
Basically, I think it's a really thing that Tennessee is doing. I think it's one of probably the most progressive things of any state that I know of, and I just moved back here from California. I'm in my mid-50s. But on the flip side of that, I think it's a real shame that the public school system in Tennessee as a whole has basically failed a lot of its citizenry, because we're at a point now where, you know, the jobs are there in high-tech manufacturing, but now we have people with low math skills and science skills, and they're not able to meet those challenges when these companies come here and want to relocate. So on one side, I think it's a good thing, very progressive for such a regressive state. But then on the other side, I think it's a real shame that we failed so many people, and it's still going to be a hard learning curve for those who are eligible to take advantage of the Reconnect program. You guys have a good evening.
All right, Michael, thank you for that. And that's an interesting take on it. I mean, clearly, I've heard the governor say employers are desperate for people that are qualified. There aren't enough right now. And so Michael says that's an indication that our public schools have failed. You know, when you hear that, you know, what do you say?
Well, I think a lot of adults that want to return to school have experienced a failure in academics, which is why 900,000 people didn't complete. That's not the reason all of them didn't complete, but when we surveyed adults, and we surveyed about 8,000 working adults in Middle Tennessee when we first launched this effort, one of the greatest barriers for them was a fear of math. And so I think it provides us as a Reconnect community, but also as a broader community, an opportunity to really address that. Even in the workforce, we have one employer, the Tennessee Department of Transportation, that's looking at ways to address that fear of math by providing on-site classes to help them up their skills in math. They're one of our greatest partners in the Middle Tennessee Reconnect community in terms of promoting attainment of the workforce, but also addressing the barriers. They participated in the survey, and that was one of the things that was identified. So I think our school system is working very hard to correct some of the things the barriers they've been facing, but I also think we have an opportunity to also assist adults as well.
That's quite interesting. So when you survey all of these adults who dropped out or who have not completed the secondary education, one of the things they say is math.
Yeah.
A fear of math.
A fear of math.
Wow. I mean, I kind of understand. Math is hard.
Well, and when you fail, because, you know, I went to college and I didn't like math. I understand why it's important. I had a wonderful teacher who, you know, helped me along, but if you didn't have that person and you continuously took math and failed, I would be terrified.
Right, yeah, you just over and over.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to take a break. Evan, others, if you're on the line, hold on. There are a few lines open if you want to call in. There's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.